The key in the lock turned with a jingle that, for the first time, grated on my nerves. Emilia waltzed in, a laugh bubbling from her lips, a melody so jarringly out of tune with the tension coiling in my gut. It had been a long 6 months of subtle shifts, of late nights at work, of hushed phone calls taken in the other room. 6 months of my heart slowly fracturing into a million irreparable pieces. She stopped dead in the doorway, the laughter dying in her throat like a strangled bird. Her eyes, usually sparkling with an effervescence I had adored, widened in horror. Her hand flew to her mouth, a silent gasp escaping. It was the reaction I'd been waiting for, the culmination of my meticulously crafted plan. On our bed, laid out with a precision that would make a museum curator proud, were the artifacts of her betrayal. Not just texts or emails, though those were there, printed and framed like macabre artwork. No, I had gone further. Much further. There was the silk scarf she'd claimed to have lost, the one I found tucked in the glove compartment of Cameron's car, Cameron, her supposed colleague. There was the receipt for the romantic weekend getaway at the secluded cabin, a weekend she'd told me she was spending with her sick mother. And then, the piece de resistance, a blown-up photo of them, caught in a stolen embrace outside a downtown restaurant. Their faces were blurred by the night, but the intimacy of the moment was undeniable. It was a gut punch captured in a single frame. Emilia stumbled back, her face draining of all color. John, I can explain. Explain what, Emilia? My voice was surprisingly calm, a stark contrast to the tempest raging within me. Explain how you looked me in the eyes every morning and lied. Explain how you systematically dismantled our marriage, brick by agonizing brick. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. She looked like a trapped animal, desperate for an escape route that didn't exist. This was the moment I had been fantasizing about for weeks, the moment where the power shifted, where the deceiver became the deceived. Where is he, Emilia? My voice hardened, the calm facade cracking. Where's Cameron? She shook her head, tears finally spilling down her cheeks. He's at work. A bitter laugh escaped my lips. Work, huh? Interesting. Because I just spoke with his wife, Emilia. Apparently, he called in sick today. Funny how these things coincide, isn't it? Emilia's eyes widened further. She hadn't known about Emilia. I hadn't planned on involving her, but when I discovered Cameron was also married, the opportunity was too perfect to resist. Misery loves company, they say. I pulled out my phone and dialed a number. Cameron, I said when he answered, my voice laced with ice, I think you need to come home. There's something I need to show you. The next hour was a blur of raw emotion. Cameron arrived, swaggering in with a cocky grin that quickly vanished when he saw the tableau on the bed, and the woman standing beside it, a ghost of her former self. Emilia arrived shortly after, her face pale and drawn, a storm brewing in her eyes. The confrontation that followed was anything but civilized. Accusations flew, tears flowed, and the carefully constructed lies they had both built crumbled around them. It wasn't pretty, but it was necessary. They deserved to see the devastation they had wrought, to feel the weight of their betrayal. In the aftermath, there was silence. A heavy, suffocating silence that hung in the air like smoke. Emilia looked at me, her eyes pleading. John, please. But the John she knew, the man who had loved her unconditionally, was gone. He had been chipped away at, piece by piece, until nothing remained but a hollow shell. It's over, Emilia, I said, my voice devoid of emotion. I want you out. The divorce was messy, a protracted battle fought in courtrooms and lawyers' offices. Emilia tried to salvage something, to paint herself as the victim, but the evidence was overwhelming. The truth, as they say, will out. Cameron and Emilia's marriage fared no better. Their implosion was spectacular, a fiery crash that left both of them scorched. I felt no satisfaction in their pain, only a weary resignation. Their destruction wouldn't rebuild my life, wouldn't mend the cracks in my heart. Months turned into years. I sold the house, the scene of so much happiness and so much heartbreak, and started over in a new city. The pain dulled, the memories faded, replaced by a quiet acceptance. I learned to live with the ghost of what had been, to find solace in the present, and to look towards the future with a cautious optimism. One day, years later, I was at a coffee shop, lost in a book, when I heard a familiar laugh. I looked up and saw Emilia across the room. She was older, lines etched around her eyes, a sadness lingering in her smile. Our eyes met, and for a brief moment, we were transported back to that day, to the bedroom, to the artifacts of her betrayal. She looked away quickly, shame flickering in her eyes. I closed my book, a small smile playing on my lips. The anger was gone, replaced by a strange sense of peace. I had survived. I had rebuilt, and that, in the end, was the most satisfying revenge of all. I left the coffee shop, stepping back into the sunlight, leaving the ghost of Amelia and the wreckage of our past behind me. I was finally free.